Assalamu alaikum and a pleasant morning, girls. Today we are going to see Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan, a poetry by A.K. Ramanujan. Is it clear? Okay. By this poetry we will finish one unit. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Do you know, girls, what is obituary? Okay. It is in living memory. I'll tell you what it is. It is about a notice of a death, especially in a newspaper, typically including a brief biography of the deceased person. That is a notice of a dead person, especially we see in a newspaper. Okay, in a newspaper we see as a little biography is mentioned about that person if he has died. Okay, that is called obituary, a brief biography of that particular person. Is it clear? It is called obituary. Okay, now we'll see about the introduction of the author. A.K. Ramanujan was born in Mysore, India, 1929. A poet, a translator, folklorist, a tale teller, and philologist. Okay, he has multi-talented person. Okay, his major contributions, that is his major contribution to English literature is, that is Indian English literature is The Striders, Second Sight, the collected poems of A.K. Ramanujan in 1995. Is it clear? Okay. Here, he was born to Mr. Krishnaswamy. His father name is Mr. Krishnaswamy, an astronomer, on 16th March 1929. Ramanujan was educated at Marimallappa High School, Mysore. Then he went to University of Mysore and completed his PhD in linguistics from Indiana University. Is it clear, ma? Okay. He went. That is, he is educated from the Marimallappa High School, Mysore. Then he went to the University of Mysore and completed his PhD in linguistics from Indiana University. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Then A.K. Ramanujan. Mr. A.K. Ramanujan is one of those selected poets. Ramanujan is one of those selected poets from India whose writings always clinches readers, this catches its readers. Okay, attracts the attention of the readers. He mastered this art over 5 languages. Okay, how great he was. Okay, he has mastered this art over 5 languages. That is, he know English, he know Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. Okay, the winner of Sahitya Academy Award is also being recognized for his demand for use of local non-standard dialects. Okay, he has won the Sahitya Academy Award. Is that clear, ma? Okay. His place in Indian English poetry. Yes. A.K. Ramanujan, 1929 to 1993, was a great poet, though he spent a considerable part of life in a foreign country. He did not serve his connections with his native Indian tradition, feelings, and ethos. His expatriate sensibility provided him a chance to portray his experiences in India and America in an objective and accurate way. Okay, though he has spent his much part of his life in a foreign country, but he did not lose that Indian culture. Okay, he portrayed his experience in India as well as in America in an accurate way. Is it clear? Okay. As Ian Lal said, Ramanujan's poems takes their origin in a mind that is simultaneously Indian and Western. That is simultaneously in a at a time both the works. Okay, simultaneously in the same time Indian and Western. Like Lal says that Ramanujan poems are the both the things. Okay, origin in a mind that is simultaneously Indian as well as Western. The Indian mode of experiencing an emotion and the Western mode of defining it. Okay, emotions and definitions of it. Is it clear? Most of his poems, though intensely personal, have a universal dimensions of their own. The main themes of Ramanujan's poetry are family, love, despair, and death. Okay, he used to write with the theme of his poetry is about family, love, despair, and death. They are full of irony, humor, paradox, and sudden reversals. There is sudden twist in his poems. Is it clear? Okay. And understood, ma? Okay, girls. Then we will see a poetry. I told you before in itself what is obituary. That is in beforehand I told you what is obituary. Obituary means that is a notice of a death. Okay, especially in a newspaper. Is it clear? A brief biography is mentioned in the newspaper about the death. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Here we will see the poetical lines. Listen carefully, girls. Father, when he passed on, left dust and a table of papers, left debts and daughters, a bedwetting grandson, named by the toss of a coin after him. A house that leaned slowly through our growing years on a bent coconut tree in the yard. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. As before, easily and at both ends, left his eye coins in the ashes that didn't look one bit different, several spinal discs, rough, some burnt to coal for sons. To pick gingerly and throw as the priest said, facing east, where three rivers met near the railway station. No long standing headstone with his full name and two dates. To holding their parenthesis, everything he didn't quite manage to do himself, like his Caesarean birth in a Brahmin ghetto, and his death by heart failure in the fruit market. But someone told me he got 2 lines in an inside column of a Madras newspaper, sold by the kilo exactly 4 weeks later to the street hawkers, who sell it in turn to the small groceries where I buy salt, coriander, and jaggery in newspaper cones that I usually read for fun and lately in the hope of finding these obituary lines. And he left us a change, mother, and more than one annual ritual. This poetry is divided into, it is written in 8 stanzas. Okay, we'll have the explanation now. Okay, it is by A.K. Ramanuj. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Here, the first is it is obituary about a ironical poem. Okay, the word obituary means a notice of a death in a newspaper, including a brief biography. The poem is written on the death of his father. Okay, this poem it is written about his death of his father. The poet explains how his death has affected his family and what his father has achieved in his life. Okay, in this poetry he explains that how the death of his father has affected him and his family, and what he has achieved in his life. Is it clear? Okay. In the first stanza, you see, father, when he passed on, left dust, and a table of papers, left debts and daughters, a bedwetting grandson named by the toss of a coin after him. Here, in the first stanza, the poet says that when his father died, he left nothing for the family but problems, like dust on a table of papers. Debts, that is unreturned money. If you have taken from anyone else, if you borrowed from anyone else, and it is unwritten. Okay, is it clear? That is called debt. When his father has passed away, only he received, that is he did not left anything for the family, but the problems like dust on the table of papers. Okay, like debts, unmarried daughters, and a bedwetting grandson. Bedwetting grandson, that is a very small child whose name is a little bit similar to his father's name. Okay, that is of a coin after him. Is it clear, ma? Okay. These lines shows the poet's dissatisfaction with his father. Yes, of course. He does not seem to be sorrowful because of a death. The poet is more concerned about the duties. Okay, he is not sorrowful, or he is not very like upset, or because of the loss of his father. He is because he is much concerned about the duties, okay, of his family, which he has to perform. That is, he has to return the debt, he has to marry his sisters, right? Yes or no? And he has to take care of the grandson also. Is it clear? He is thinking about the duties of his family, okay, which he has to perform. He has to pay the debts of his father, he has to marry of his sister, and also has to take care of a young child who urinates in the bed. That is bedwetting grandson. Is it clear? Okay. These lines also show the culture of a typical Indian family, which is patriarchal in nature. Neither the mother of the poet nor his sisters are earning, as the poet is now the eldest male in the family. All the duties are bestowed on him. Is it clear? So he has to now he is the only male in the family. He is thinking about his duty. Okay, what are all the things he has to do? Is it clear? Okay. And the next stanza, a house that leaned slowly through our growing years on a bent coconut tree in the yard. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. That is in the second stanza. The poet continues that his father has left a house that leaned slowly through our growing years and a bent coconut tree in the yard. That lines means that they have inherited a house from his father which is leaning on a coconut tree and thus in a bad condition. Okay, it is in the only they are having a house, but it is also in a very bad condition. Okay, the poet calls his father as the burning type, indicating that he was a bad-tempered man and would never have behaved properly with him or the other family members. Now he is calling his father as a burned properly, burning type. That is bad-tempered man. He has not behaved properly with his that is with the poet or with his family members. Okay. Being hot-tempered, he burned properly at the cremation. Okay, that is what it means that that is the last ritual, that is in a funeral they have to burn properly at the cremation. Is it clear? The phrases gives the message of tit for tat. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Then the third stanza. As before, easily and at both ends, left his eye coins in the ashes that dent. Look one bit different, several spinal discs, rough some burned to coal for suns. Here in this stanza, in the third stanza, that line continues from the previous one, that is angel. He is burned very easily from both the sides, except his eye coins. The kind either signifies his anger or his greed for money, which don't look one bit different even after burning, and also several spinal discs, though some of them burnt to coal. Okay, he says that the third stanza, he burned very easily, and some spinal disc and the eye, it is also turned as a coal. Okay, now we'll see the fourth stanza. To pick gingerly and throw as the priest said, facing east, where three rivers met, near the railway station, no longer long-standing headstone with his full name and two dates. Now, in the fourth stanza, he says, according to the poet, the remains of his father's prey are left for sons to pick, as the priest said. Now, after burning that body, they used to pick the ashes, right? Yes or no? Yes. So the priest who is in the temple, he is telling that the son have to pick the ashes. Okay. Facing east, where three rivers met, near the railway station. Okay, now what is telling that we have to take that ashes and we have to perform the rituals. Okay, now he is telling where the three rivers met. Okay, this line shows that the priest forces the sons to perform the Hindu rituals. The poet is on way ready to do it. His father has no grave, as his ashes and remains are thrown in the river. Okay, now his father has no grave because they burned the body and they thrown the ashes in the river. Is it clear? Okay. Now we will see in the fifth stanza. To hold in their parenthesis, everything he didn't quite manage to do himself, like his Khazarian birth in a Brahmin ghetto and his death by heart failure in the fruit market. Now in the fifth stanza, he says, there are also no two dates, his birth and the death dates, to throw light on his life. The poet calls him incapable, as he didn't do anything on his own. His birth was in a Brahmin ghetto and his death by heart failure in the fruit market. There is no achievement in his lifetime. Is it clear? Okay. These lines, in my views, these lines shows that he has not achieved anything in this world. His birth was ordinary, his death was also ordinary. What he did in life showed his incapability. Is it clear? Okay. In the sixth stanza, but someone told me he got two lines. Okay, girls, in this fifth stanza, he says about the incapabilities of his father. Okay, now we will see the sixth stanza. But someone told me he got 2 lines in an inside column of a Madras newspaper, sold by the kilo exactly 4 weeks later to street hawkers. Now he says that, however, the poet comes to know that 2 lines were written for him in an inside column of a Madras newspaper, which is sold by the kilo as junk after 4 weeks of his death to street hawkers. Okay. He heard the news from the other people that in a Madras newspaper, in that obituary column, he has received 2 lines about his father. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Then in the seventh stanza, who sell it in turn to the small groceries where I buy salt, coriander and jaggery in newspaper cones that I usually read. Here in the seventh stanza, these street hawkers sell it in turn to the small groceries. From these groceries, the poet buys salt, coriander and jaggery in newspaper cones, which he reads for fun. Here he says that in our childhood we used to go to the small shop, right? Yes, grocery shop, where they fold some things, that is the coriander or salt or jaggery, they fold in a newspaper cones, right? Yes or no? Like that, he also goes to the grocery shop where he used to buy all those things, okay, small things, and that newspaper cones he usually read for fun. Okay, is it clear, ma? Okay, now the last and final stanza. For fun and lately in the hope of finding these obituary lines, and he left us a changed mother and more than one annual ritual. Here in the 8th stanza, he says that, the poet says that, he began to buy more of these things in the hope of finding these obituary lines which were written for his father. Now, in the previous stanza, he says that he used to buy groceries in the newspaper cone, and he used to read those newspaper for fun. But lately, he used to buy those newspaper cones in hope of finding those 2 obituary lines which is mentioned for his father. Is that clear, ma? Okay. In the end, he says that, did you understood the 8 stanzas, ma? Okay. Okay, hope you have understood. Okay, in the end, he says that his father left with them with a changed mother. She remains sorrowful and more than one annual ritual. The poet is showing his dislike for the ritual which is celebrated in the memory of his father for his peace. Okay, in the ritual, that is after someone's death, we used to perform a ritual, that is a annual ritual for the dead person. But here the poet shows the that is disagree. Okay, he says that his mother has changed and she remains sorrowful all the time, and they have to perform that annual ritual. Okay, which shows that he don't want to celebrate that ritual. Okay, he dislikes that in the memory of his father for his peace. Okay, is that clear, ma'am? In that, okay. Thus, the poet says that his father achieved nothing in this world except those two lines, that is obituary, which were written in the newspaper he could never find out. On the other hand, he left an unbearable burden on the poet. The poem is hence a critic of the poet's father and his incapabilities. Okay, this is the reality, and it is a real thing which happened in his life. Okay, is that clear, ma? Uh, that is the end of the poem. He says that his father has not achieved anything in his life. Okay, only except those two lines which he has never found. Okay, he has left an unbearable burden on the poet, and it is a criticism on poet's fathers and his incapabilities. Okay, and irresponsibilities. Is it clear? Okay, girls. Hope you people have understood. If you have any doubts, please do ask in comment, girls. Sure, I will clarify your doubts. Okay, girls. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.